If you're currently putting your assets in a living trust, wait. Don't transfer another penny until you hear these 5 mistakes. The first will definitely surprise you. Because listen, you're being a responsible adult, taking care of your family and your kids' future with a living trust. It's one of the most honorable things a parent can do. But you have to be careful because there are tons of ways this can go completely wrong without you even knowing. Like if you're putting your car in a living trust or even your 401k. Don't worry though, I'm here to help because I'm going to tell you the 5 most important things you should never put in your living trust and help save you and your family from a world of trouble. First, a quick reminder, a living trust decides what happens to your assets when you die and puts someone in charge if you become incapacitated. A trust, if done the right way, avoids probate. And avoiding probate saves your family time and money. On average, 9 months to 2 years of legal battles and 5 to 9% of your estate value. But here's the problem. People create a trust and they don't know the rules of what to put in the trust and what not to put in a trust. Let's start with the biggest mistake. Mistake number 1, retirement accounts. IRAs, 401ks. I once had a couple tell me we moved everything into the trust. Everything, even their 401k. Here's the issue. Retirement accounts pass by beneficiary designation. You don't retitle the account to your trust, you update the beneficiary. And you have to do it the right way. Under the Secure Act, the rules have changed. Most non-spouse beneficiaries now have to empty the account within 10 years. That can create a major tax hit, but a surviving spouse is different. A spouse can roll the IRA into their own account, treat it as their own, delay required minimum distributions, continue tax-deferred growth. That flexibility matters. If you name the trust as a beneficiary instead of your spouse directly, you can limit that rollover flexibility unless the structure of the trust is done carefully. So in many situations, your spouse should be listed as the primary beneficiary on your retirement account. The trust should be a contingent beneficiary. This gives your spouse the max flexibility. And if you both pass, the trust controls how the children receive it. Tax efficiency first, control second. The advantages of naming the trust as a contingent beneficiary as opposed to naming your children directly include the trustee can control the age of distribution to the beneficiaries. This is especially important with minor children, young adults, spendthrift heirs, or beneficiaries with special needs. The trust can define where any beneficiary shares go if the beneficiary dies before receiving his or her entire share. Keeping a beneficiary share in the trust can preserve its status as sole or separate property. Number 2, timeshares. This one surprises people. A man once put his timeshare into his trust. He thought, my kids will love this place. After he passed away, his kids did not want the timeshare, but now the trust owned it. That meant maintenance fees, special assessments, paperwork, and long contracts. You can't just unsubscribe from a timeshare like Netflix. If you could, estate planning would be much easier. Before putting a timeshare into your trust, ask yourself, is this a gift or is this a bill? Big difference. Number 3, vehicles. In many states, vehicles transfer after death with a simple form. No probate circus. Adding the trust to the title of your vehicle often creates more paperwork than protection. And in many states, there are extra fees to move it into your trust. Also, in some cases, having a trust listed on title after a car accident can invite extra scrutiny. For most families, vehicles do not need to live inside the trust. Keep it simple. Number 4, guns. This one is serious. Firearms are not like furniture. Certain firearms require strict federal and state compliance. Some firearms require a completely separate trust structure. If handled incorrectly, it can create legal issues or transfer delays. This is not something to casually list. Details matter. Number 5, everyday personal property. Furniture, clothes, kitchen items. Most trusts allow something called a personal property memorandum. It's just a written list. You say who gets what, wedding ring, watch, family heirlooms. You can update it easily without rewriting your entire trust. Now, if you own very valuable items, fine art, rare collectibles, high value jewelry, those may need to be listed in the trust. But your couch, you're fine. Here's the bottom line. A living trust is powerful. It protects your family. It creates clarity, but don't put everything into the trust blindly. Move the right assets, leave out the wrong ones. Align your beneficiary designations. That's how you avoid creating problems and instead solve them.